Hello, everyone!
And we're back!
Hello, everyone living within this
And
dimensional
we are
plane.
back! Welcome back, everybody!
Well, apparently Glow's just gonna hijack my channel. So what happened was we were recording a video and my OBS just kind of randomly stopped and I have no idea where it stopped. So I was trying to restart, but Glow decided nah. So what we're doing is this motherfucker who you see in a picture besides my OC, the one with the fluffy brown hair. His name is James. He's dead. This is a video honoring him because he died 7 years ago. Other fucker in the picture is me, by the way. Anyways.
Died like a bitch.
Well, I mean, he kind of killed himself.
Oh, God. I thought he got, like, stabbed or something. I'm sorry.
No,
Oh, jeez.
I
feel like a dick.
Anyways, through learning his life, you'll understand what happened.
Man.
Basically, he was a kind of like a super gruff dude. He wore fake vampire fangs. He had snake bites. He had tattoo sleeves of eldritch horrors.
He wore fake vampire fangs? Oh, God.
Yeah, he had eldritch terror tattoos under his leather jacket. Yeah, James was a cool dude. And he was also, like, super Christian, but he was a special super type of Christian that also worshipped Satan, because what he did was he took all the sects of Christianity and went and looked through it all and found all the common factors and all the best parts of all this different sects and made it into his own special religion. Glow, don't worry, there's a special gap in the video where you can actually put, like, me saying sects instead of sex, because I realize with my lisp, it sounds like I'm saying one thing when I'm saying the other.
Good.
Yeah, there's a giant purple space right in the middle. Anyways.
Also, you're just sending me the audio, right? Not just the video, right?
I'm just gonna send you straight up the entire file from because I'm using OBS, so I have the pictures pulled up on OBS. Dude, it's a solitary picture.
Yeah, but I have to separate the audio from the video.
Well, fuck, I didn't know that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was planning on just doing this unedited, then you were like, hey, let me edit for you, and I was like, okay!
Well, I mean, I'm gonna need the files fucking separately so I can do the editing of the vocals and the video and sync it up together.
Well, honestly, good thing there's no moving pictures, so syncing up the visual to the audio will be real easy.
Yeah!
Because there's no moving pictures. Anyways. So he was a super cool, kind of like gruff, rough dude who often would threaten to suplex people into cans of cat food, and I actually have seen him do that before to his best friend. It was weird. And both his parents were immigrants. His father was from Australia, his mother was from Portugal. They immigrated to Australia. They met, they dated, they got married, they had him. And he lived a relatively normal life with really the super cool parents are, like, they weren't like the ones who, like, tried to act cool and ended up sounding cringy, but no, like, they used, like, modern slang and sounded natural to them because they didn't, like, try to be like, hey, kids, look, I'm hip. No, they're like, hey, man, what's up? How are you doing? What happened in your day, man? Oh, cool, this happened in mine. Stuff like that.
Where did they move from?
James's dad was from Ireland, and James's mom was from Portugal.
Oh, that's hella cool.
Yeah, he was cool. He was half Irish and half Portuguese.
And just a little bit of Australian.
Yeah.
Because he's from Australia.
Yeah, it was so cool. He was cool. So he's kind of like, kind of gruff, but he also was going to school to become a pastor after he graduated from high school. And so, like, if you asked him anything about, like, religion or anything, he would go into, like, a pastor mode, and it was so fucking wild to watch. Anyways, that's his personality. Let's talk about his life story, as you got a hint at the beginning of this video of how he died, and this video is to honor his death. So, when he was in high school, he met a girl named Catherine. Her name was spelled fucking wild. I'll PM Glow what her name was spelled like so she can put it up here.
Okay.
It had a Y in it.
What was their name?
Catherine. his
I'm
girlfriend.
guessing it's just Kath and then RYN.
Yeah. Actually, there was
Cool!
RYNE.
Oh, fucking hell.
Her
I hate parents who do that shit. Like, oh, we gotta make our child's name special. Let's put a fucking Y in it. And add an unnecessary E. Yeah, let's do that.
To be fair, they were not native English speakers.
Fair enough.
Her parents were Rami.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
AKA gypsies.
Ah.
Yeah. Anyways. James and Catherine fell in love in high school, and their birthdays were about a month apart. When they were 17, like 2-3 months before they turned 18, they were having sex one night and the condom broke. And Catherine ended up getting pregnant. Now, Catherine's parents were pretty damn chill, and, well, James's parents were cool parents. So, they decided to be honest and be like, hey, moms, dads, Catherine/I am pregnant, the condom broke, it was an accident. And Catherine's parents, instead of freaking the fuck out and being like, you may never touch my child again, or James's parents doing that, they were like, alright, we know you two are completely and utterly in love. You guys have been dating since, like, 9th grade. Like, seriously, they met in, like, their first year of high school and dated throughout the entire time of high school. It was, like, clearly they were in love. And so... Glow, if you ever wondered where I got my massive amount of, like, loyalty and obsession with soulmates from, it's from these two fuckers. Yeah. So...
Okay.
Yep. Basically.
I need to get some paracord.
This is
off topic.
Yeah, off topic, Glow.
Yeah, shut up. I got a new knife. I want to paracord it.
Okay, then.
Let me have my interests.
I will let you live your life.
I mean, come on, man. I got a fucking dagger. I love this shit.
Anyways. I love that sound.
I know.
Anyways, off topic.
There we go.
Off topic. Anyways. So Catherine got pregnant. What happened was that they decided to wait until after they turned 18, and, like, right after they turned 18, they got married. And, they got married, and, a bit after that, they had 2 babies. Catherine ended up being pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl.
Ah, so one did not absorb the other. Or maybe there were 3 and one of them absorbed the other. Or maybe both of them absorbed the other.
I don't know.
Fucking know.
Neither do I. And so they named the baby boy Garrett. And they named the baby girl after... see, what they did was they named their babies after their parents. So Garrett was James's father's name. And Catherine's mother got their daughter's name of Clary. I know, these people have, like, really white names. It was a little weird, because, like, yeah, her parents were Rami, but they lived in Australia, and, if I remember correctly, Clary original changed her name to that after she moved to Australia. Because I guess she wanted a really white person name? I don't know.
I fucking guess. I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyways, so they had Clary and Garrett, and after they were born, Garrett won. Garrett Sr., let's go. Garrett Sr. and Catherine's father got together and were like, So our kids are married now, and they have babies. They can't be living with us anymore. And so what they decided to do was they got in an apartment that was relatively close, which was between both the grandparents' house, because they like lived across town from each other. So they got an apartment, a simple 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, and co-signed a lease together. And they had Clary and Jane. They had Catherine. I'm sorry, Catherine and James move into the apartment with Clary and Garrett Juniors. And what happened was Garrett Senior and Catherine's dad paid for a fourth of the rent themselves, and James and Catherine, off of their jobs, paid for the rest of the rent, while James was going to school to become a pastor, and Catherine worked and was a mom. On days that Catherine was working and the kids couldn't be at school, they would go to one of the grandparents' house and hang out there because they had a really stupidly close-knit family. And now it occurs to me, some of you might be wondering, as we're like 11 minutes into this, you might be wondering, how the fuck do I know all this? You see,
Yeah.
They were pretty, like, good with technology, the parents and everything, in older years, so what they all had was they had a Kik group chat set up.
Oh, cool.
And I had met James through that, and, well, not through Kik, but I don't remember how we met exactly, but we met online, and I became friends with him, and then
Wasn't it a gaming group?
Was it?
So it was that Minecraft group.
No, that's a different group
Okay.
of friends. No, these guys precede those guys. Like, when I met James was around the time when I met, Monte. So, years and years and years ago. Actually, I met these guys before I met him. Anyways, so, and so after I met James and Catherine and all that, and I became pretty close, they added me into their family group chat. Because apparently they thought me as family, so they added me.
Oh, cool.
So that's, like, how I know all this, because, like, I interacted with both Garrett Sr. and Clary Sr. and their spouses, because they were all in the group chat together and such. And I had pretty good relationships with them all, and it was fun. Anyways, so, James and Catherine lived in that apartment with Garrett and Clary Juniors for about 4 years, until one morning Catherine was driving her kids to school because they needed to go to preschool. And a guy in a 16-wheeler, the big freight trucks, did not follow regulation and was driving way longer than he should have been. And he ended up falling asleep behind the wheel of the truck. And Clary, and he fell asleep behind the wheel and started veering into Catherine's lane, and Catherine could not react quickly enough to get out of his way, and it was basically a dead-on collision, and Catherine, Garrett, and Clary all died in the car accident. They sadly all passed away before paramedics could get there. And that took a great emotional toll on James, as the love of his life and his 2 children all died in the course of one day.
Well, shit, son.
Yeah. Then, following that, a year later, Garrett Sr. had a sudden and very unexpected heart attack, which resulted in his death. A few months after that, there was some sort of complication in James's mother's health. She did have diabetes, so I believe that might have been a factor in the complication. She had type 1 diabetes. And there was some sort of complication in her health that I believe might have stemmed from that, which resulted in her passing away as well. So over the course of 2 years, James lost basically all of his family except for his step-parents.
Jeez.
Yeah, and just to give you a little, because you like can visually see what James looks like. If you're all familiar with Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame, the pretty gypsy lady, if you change the eye color to like chocolate brown, that's essentially what Catherine looked like. And her parents were dead ringers for her. And so it was extremely painful for him because in such a short amount of time, he basically lost his entire world, and his step-parents looked so similar to the love of his life where he couldn't take it and he couldn't really stand to have a relationship with them anymore because it just constantly reminded him of his dead wife and not hurt too much. And so, shut the fuck up, phones. This is a bad time. And anyways, fuck you. And so what happened, I don't have any phones around, I can shut the fuck up. I'm in a different room. Anyways, so what happened was he couldn't take the grief and the pain from it anymore, and so he ended his life. Now, I know what he did specifically to end his life, but I'm not going to share that, as this is going to go into a YouTube video, and that would most likely get my channel banned. So, after that, I was informed of Catherine's death by James and Catherine's parents and James's parents as well. And then after that, after James's parents died, I was informed then by James and Catherine's parents. And then after James died, I was informed by Catherine's parents. And then a few years after that, Catherine's father ended up getting Alzheimer's, and he was put into an old person's home because of it. And I believe shortly after that, Catherine's mother, Clary Sr., went into the same old person's home to be with her husband and get assisted living as well until they died. And by now, they're in their like mid to late 90s, by my estimation. So they're probably dead by now or slowly wasting away. This video really took a turn.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, well, that was the point. I was going to talk about how he was as a person and his story and how he got to the place he was now. So, James went through a lot of hardship very suddenly in his life, and it took too much of a toll on him. I guess the point of the video was, even though James seemed to have lost everything, there was still people out there who loved and adored him and wanted to be there for him, myself included, and he did a lot of good things for others and himself, and he was truly and dearly loved by me, at least. I did think of him, some days it was more of like an older brother, other days it was more of like a dad. He was and is an amazing person who, honestly, if the Pope found him when he was alive, the Pope would have given him sainthood on the spot. Like, this man, just out of the pure kindness and love in his heart, would regularly take his family and himself to go to like orphanages or animal shelters and spend time with the babies or the children or the animals, just so they can just feel what legitimate, never-ending, constant, unbiased love is. And so he would do stuff like that, just volunteer everywhere all the time, doing good things for his community and to help out. And one thing he and Clary did was every year, for around Christmas, they would save up a money jar of like change or whatever, and even Garrett and Clary would pitch in on this, the juniors, and they would put in a couple quarters whenever they had some spare cash and put it into a jar, and then they would donate all of it to some giant charity every year, just because they wanted to. They wanted to be helpful and loving and kind, and so they were. And as I mentioned earlier, his really interesting views on religion and the fact that he wanted to be a pastor. The reason why he wanted to be a pastor and to start his own church was so he could not so much create a church where it's like, I believe in this and this is how I interpret the Bible, so you must interpret it that way as well, but more of he would tell you about how he interpreted the Bible and then encourage you to read your Bible and interpret it how you would. And what he wanted to do was get a bunch of books from different sects of Christianity. So, like, get the Bible used by Catholics, by Lutherans, by Mormons, by just pure Christians, by Jewish people, and have them all there so you can read the different interpretations of God and form your own opinion and views and relationship with God and have your own unique version of God that you have a very close bond with, like how he did. He was the type of person where when he prayed, he wouldn't be like, oh God, please bless us with a good life. No, he'd be like, hi God, how was your day? I went through and did this and this and this. What did you do today? And stuff like that. Sure, he would occasionally ask for favors and like request that, oh, his children have a happy life, that that certain children at the orphanage would be adopted soon and such. But he mostly prayed just so he could have a conversation with his God. And he had a very strict rule where do not follow him and do not follow his religion because you like his personality. Follow his religion because you like the religion. And I think Glow can say that's a pretty solid thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty agreeable thing. So, like, even though I love and adore him, it's not part of my religious belief to go out and go feed orphan babies just to give them love. That's not how my personal religious views work. Well, his did work like that, so he went out and did that. So he is a cool guy because he helps a lot with like helped a lot with like understanding the universe and how the world work and like religion, but he wasn't the type of person to be like to push it on or be like it's my religion or be like a crazy Christian where it's like if you don't follow these rules you're going to go to hell. No, it's like if you don't follow these rules, no one's going to fucking yell at you. You have your own religion to follow. I have mine. I can tell you stuff about my religion and see which things strike a chord in you, but ultimately it's your choice to make a religious path. So, I guess at the end of the day, don't kill yourself because there's people there who do truly love and adore you and want to be there with you and for you, and someone is going to miss you. Like, I know personally at the point in time where James did die, I was getting kind of stressed out by school and getting grounded a lot. so I couldn't really speak to him much. But so I'm sure he felt super alone, but at the same time, I love him and I think about him every day, and if I believed in the same God he would, I would be praying that he'd have a happy afterlife. But no, I don't want to bother Hades too much. Anyways, so don't kill yourself. Someone's going to miss you. If you are feeling depressed or suicidal, I'll have in the description hotline, like a suicide hotline or a self-help hotline number. And I hope y'all figure out your own form of a religion. Thank you for tuning in on this episode. I hope you all had a wonderful day, and I hope you continue to have wonderful days. Goodbye.